Robotic production lines are commonplace when we think of heavy industry, but also the rise of cobots and pick-and-place machines, we're seeing greater applications every day. We're going to be talking to Infineon, and we're going to explore a few of the technologies that sit behind industrial robots. In order to automate work, deliver precision and control, robots must interact and react to their environment. To do this, a robot, much like a human, needs both power and sensing capabilities. When it comes to robots, these are delivered in the form of motor and sensing technology and control. Hi, welcome to another edition of DesignSpark Ask the Expert, and today we'll be talking to Andrea Hoffman from Infineon. Hi, Andreas. Would you like to say hello to DesignSpark?
Yeah, hello, Greg, and hello to the DesignSpark. So my name is Andreas Hoffmann, and I'm the system architect for Industrial Drive at Infineon.
Fantastic. So, Andreas, we're talking obviously about robotics, and there's quite a lot of things to consider in there. But let's start with something that can determine the operational control and system safety and feedback, for example. So, feedback is an area which is really important, and one of those areas that are providing us the information that we require from feedback is current. So, in a system, can you tell me the things that we need to know and understand about current?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Well, the control architecture of a drive is usually a cascaded design, with the positioning, a speed, and also a current or a torque controller. And the last controller, so the current controller, runs in the highest speed and priority. And only if we are able to control the current, and with that the torque, we are able to have a good and overall motion performance, which is just essential for servo drives and also robotic applications. And also in case of functional safety, there can also be a huge influence to limit the torque or also of the motor. Just think about human-machine cooperations in manufacturing processes. Here it is important to set or to throttle the torque in some cases, just to make it important that no one gets trapped or injured. So the functional safety drive function SLT, which stands for safely limited torque, could be a way to prevent injuries to employees. So it's not easy to measure direct the torque of the motor, but we can calculate the torque of the motor with the help of the rotor angle, some motor data, and also the phase currents. The motor data is normally well known, how to say, and we can measure the rotor angle also in a good manner. And if we have any errors in the angle measurement, the result will always a lower torque instead of a higher torque. But if we look to the current measurement, then we will see, that for sure, if we measure the current in the right way, so maybe we have a higher current that the motors really have to the motor, then we will also have a higher current. And in case of functional safety, this is just not allowed. That's just one of the reasons why current measurement in robotics and also servo drives is so important.
Yeah. And there's a lot to be gained from current measurement as well, in terms of, condition monitoring, for example. Excess of current can give you an indication of so many things. So I just want to understand a little bit more from Infineon about the role of current sensors within robotics and drives, both in terms of the motion control, but you also mentioned there in safety. I just wonder if you could expand on that, please.
Yes, I already mentioned that the current is the most important signals for motion control. Yeah, so it helps to have safety, energy, but it also helps to save energy because in combination with a good adjusted controller, it helps to avoid control overshoots of the current speed and also of the position. Yeah. And one of the other things is to use the signals for advanced topics, such as predictive maintenance. It's also possible to analyze the current signals to detect mechanical issues in the powertrain, like defect bearings or unbalances. So it's also possible to use the current signal to estimate the temperature of the semiconductors and also of the motor. But this advanced function just makes sense if you are also able to use the signals in the right way. And for that, we need appropriate products like current sensing products and also the right microcontroller.
Yeah, yeah. I sometimes think of current as the kind of like the blood test of the human system, and current is the kind of the blood test of the industrial system. It can tell you so much information about the process.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to just touch upon is how does actually Infineon support the evaluation of current sense within, say, robotic applications, for example?
Yeah, okay. So we at Infineon, we have a broad portfolio of different current measurement devices. Yeah, so with different voltages from 3.3 up to 5 volt as an output signals. There's also necessary UL and IEC certifications that you normally use for such kind of a design. And also the sensor are really EMI robust, and also the temperature will go up to 125 degrees. And that's just perfect if you have an integrated drive. Yeah, so integrated drive means that's the drive that is mounted together with the motor in the joint of the robot, for instance. And with the compactness, this temperature can be a problem, the higher temperature in the drive. But with our sensors, you're well prepared. And I also mentioned the functional safety functions before. Yeah, our sensors are available with automotive safety certifications and documentations, and that is something that you can also use in the industry. For the certification process, it makes it just much easier. Yeah, and nevertheless, our current sensors are high precise, have also some fast overcurrent protections of only 1 microsecond. It's also a nice feature that you can use. And also efficient, so they have only 220 micro-ohm resistance with only 1 nanohenry. And this is just the perfect match from my point of view for all the drive applications.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things obviously to unpack there in that answer. Is the just how useful is the indicator of current, and obviously what you're talking about with overload, energy efficiency, motor control, predictive maintenance, etc. Current is really the kind of one of the real prime indicators, the overall performance of a system, right?
Yes, it is. It is, as I said before, it is one of the main signals that you really need to control. Yeah, and also how fast such a current sensor is has also a high influence, especially if we then talking about higher switching applications.
Yeah. I just want to maybe change track a little bit, moving away from current. Motion sensing and control is really important within the industrial automation, but also we also need power with electronic switches, for example. So what kind of semiconductors would you recommend, especially for robots?
Yeah, it highly depends on which robot application you have in mind. So let's say we are focusing on high performance robots. Yeah. Then I would clearly recommend silicon carbide devices.
Yeah.
For high motion, as we've seen before, we need fast control loops, and for that we also need faster or higher switching frequencies, up 16, maybe 32 kilohertz, or maybe even more. And the low switching losses of silicon carbide in combination with the low conduction make silicon power devices a perfect solution for build such kind of compact drives. And I just think about the example of the integrated drive. Yeah, it's not possible to have a forced air cooling, especially in the joint of the robot.
Yeah.
And the high efficiency is the answer. And the best way to achieve high efficiency are the cool-stick power devices from Infineon. So whatever kind of package you prefer, a discrete device or maybe a module or an IPM, we from Infineon have in all these packages a solution with silicon carbide.
Fantastic. That's really interesting to hear in terms of the benefit that silicon carbide brings into the robotics, both within the infrastructure, but also the performance for it. So considering that material has been beneficial to robotics is good to hear from you, and I I understand what you were saying there, but we're talking about obviously silicon carbide and obviously wide bandgap power electronics. Do you want to touch upon gallium nitride, for example? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, thanks for mentioning gallium nitride. I forgot to say something about it. Yes, we also have especially in the arena, yeah, where you have the low voltage robotics. And when I now talking about low voltage, then I mean the secure extra low voltage, so less than 60 volt or typical 48 volt systems. We are often having their battery-driven applications. And then I would choose gallium nitride devices because this gives you the opportunity for building high efficient drives also without a heat sink, and also be able to touch fast switching applications and bring also up your control algorithm or let your control algorithm run much faster.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to stick on this subject for another minute or so. One of the things, obviously, which helps engineers are evaluation boards and reference designs. So do you have any that you can share with us for silicon carbide, for example?
Yes, yeah, indeed. We have an update of our integrated servo drive reference design with our latest generation 2 of the CoolSiC devices. With only 40 milliohm in combination with our compact gate drivers. And this reference board is designed to fit into a 4 kilowatt servo drive motor that can be used in robotics and also for factory automation. So this is a good starting point for our customers to get in touch with our technology and help to reduce development resources. Hope we can also maybe add a link here in the video description. Then can the customers or interesting people just click on it.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's great. Obviously, we'll provide links to areas on your site, reference designs that the users can actually go and look at to find out more information. So, yeah, thanks for that, Andreas. That's really great. The analogy I made earlier about current and blood within the human body. If I stick to that analogy at the moment, just like the human body needs both power and sensor to move and to execute routines. It's the same within robotics. The movement behind the task is the motor. So can you just tell me a little bit more about how Infineon supports motor technology development within this environment of robotics and drives, for example?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, especially in robots and also in industry servo drives, I see the trend to integrate the drive into the motor or build it really, really close to the motor. So that means a distance of approximately 10 meters between the drive and the motor. And yeah, for this we need high efficiency power devices like our CoolSiC devices. But if we are thinking about the new motor technologies and the trends, I see that the inductance of the motors is getting smaller and smaller. And this can be because of an optimized design and with an air gap winding, or the motor manufacturers just using a complete new design without any iron in the stator and so on. And these are motors without electrical sheets. Yeah. And in this case, the winding can be printed on a PCB, which offers a cost saving options. But, and this is the drawback, but with the low inductance, the makes the control, or let's say better, the measurement of the motor current difficult. But this can be avoided by a faster switching frequency. And now we are again at the question if silicon devices such as IGBTs are still the right technologies, and the answer here is clearly no, because if we are here talking about maybe switching frequencies up to 100 kilohertz, then it really makes sense to go or to use silicon carbide devices.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and by the way, if we are talking about fast switching, it's also necessary to use the right gate drivers and with low propagation delays. And most of the Infineon gate drivers are optimized to work with silicon and also with wide bandgap devices. Yeah. So you see with our broad power devices and gate drivers and so on, we are supporting the innovation not only of power electronics, also in the motor development.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of the benefits, obviously, of looking at the Infineon portfolio. You do cover such a wide area, and you can bring in sort of like the single stop shop, if you like, for the application.
Mm-hmm.
So just on robotics, and you were talking there obviously about the motors and the advance in the technology with motor technology and being used in robotics. I see robotics on a regular basis, and from one time to the next, I become really more enthusiastic about the capabilities of the robots themselves. So I just want to understand a little bit more about, within the robotic system, there could be many different types of motors used. How does Infineon actually help with the motor integration? If users are looking, where and what type of information are users going to get from Infineon?
Yeah, okay, so we talked now a lot about our power portfolio and also about our current sensing stuff, but we also have the right microcontroller, or it's more or less the brain of every robot that you also need to control the motor and also the motion. And well, our portfolio starts here really with the XMC 1000 series. That is more for the low-end motors like BLDC motors, and then with the XMC 4000 series for high-end servo applications. Yeah. And we also have some new microcontrollers in our pipeline that will probably help you to bring your motion control to the next level. And the new microcontrollers will then be optimized to work perfectly with our gate drivers and also with our wide bandgap components and sensor solutions, and to make sure that we will offer you a good fitting solution that's working all together. And yeah, for sure, we also will provide you some code examples and development boards and reference design to make your life easier and bring down your effort in the designs. So stay tuned. There are a lot of things going on there.
Fantastic. Yeah, like I said, we'll make obviously some links at the bottom of the article to accompany this video, and we'll point users in the right direction to get more information from Infineon. I guess, in terms of robotics, drives within industrial automation as well, it's such a massive topic to talk about. So I know we've only had a very short time today, and I would really maybe like to have you back to DesignSpark for us to talk some more about this subject, fascinating as it is. Andreas, thanks for your time today, and I hope we can have you on DesignSpark again real soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.